Welcome to QIMA's Supply Chain Soundbites. Today, we're unpacking the Q1 2026 Barometer. And if you're managing a supply chain, the big story is, well, it's this massive psychological shift.
It really is. I mean, 2025 was all about survival.
Just putting out fire.
Exactly. But now the data shows 2026 isn't about survival anymore. It's about a genuine structural overhaul.
And the clearest signal of that is this historic spike in diversification.
It's an all-time high.
I was looking at the concentration numbers for North American buyers. Their reliance on the top three, China, India, Vietnam, dropped from 61% down to 54% in a single year.
In 1 year, which, I mean, that is just lightning fast for supply chain standards. Usually that takes a decade.
So what's happening? Are they just jumping to the next biggest market?
That's the fascinating part. No, they're not just moving to the next best option. They're deliberately spreading volume even beyond those tier 2 and 3 markets.
Trying to spread the risk thin.
As thin as possible, yeah, to avoid getting caught in another major bottleneck.
Okay, so let's zoom in on the U.S. After all the turbulence in 2025, their procurement actually ended the year up 9%. How did they manage that?
They did it by aggressively leaning on China's competitors. Demand for sourcing in China from the U.S., it dropped 18%. But look at Southeast Asia, a 42% surge.
Wow.
And even South Asia was up about 14%. The U.S. strategy was basically aggressive relocation.
I did see the reshoring numbers in there. Is that finally a real thing, or is it still just talk?
It's real, but it's small. It hit a 7.6% share. And we saw domestic inspection demand in the U.S. rise every single quarter.
So it's not replacing Asia?
No, not at all. But it is definitely part of the mix now.
Now, contrast that with Europe. The data suggests they're playing a completely different game.
Right, a totally different playbook. If the U.S. is, breaking up with traditional partners, Europe is more like they're opening up the relationship. They're hedging.
Hedging, so they're keeping their main suppliers, but
they're also boosting regional sourcing like crazy to balance it all out. Nearshoring hit a record 14% of all EU sourcing.
And Turkey struggled a bit, which was surprising.
Yeah, some cost issues there. The real winners were Egypt, which jumped 52%, and Morocco, up 38%. The Mediterranean is becoming this really critical buffer zone for them.
Okay, this is the part of the report that really caught me by surprise. You hear about all these Western buyers leaving China, and you just assume the factories there are sitting empty.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
But the data says the exact opposite.
Far from empty. This is the rise of what we're calling the multipolar supply chain.
Yeah.
While the U.S. pulled back, demand from Canada, Australia, and New Zealand actually went up.
Okay.
But the massive story here is the South-South trade.
Which is emerging markets buying from other emerging markets.
Precisely. South and Latin American clients now make up a full 30% of all our inspections in China. That is a massive demographic shift.
Wait, that actually creates a new problem, doesn't it? If Latin America is buying more from Southeast Asia, and the West is also rushing to diversify into Southeast Asia...
You've spotted the collision. Southeast Asia is the engine right now. Demand is up 24% year on year.
But the Latin and South American demand in that same region surged 61%.
So you have Western brands trying to secure factory space, and they are clashing directly with emerging markets that are trying to grow there. It's a recipe for a huge capacity crunch.
Okay, so let's make this practical. If you're listening right now and planning for Q1, what are the top 3 moves to make?
All right, 3 things. First, audit your concentration. If you're still really heavy in just your top 3 nations, you are vulnerable. You need to start spreading that volume to what we call tier 2 markets.
Don't put all your eggs in just a few baskets. Got it. What's number 2?
Second, hedge through regionalization. Look at the European model. Mix in nearshoring, that's Mexico or domestic for the U.S., the Mediterranean for the EU, to balance your costs against your speed.
Makes sense. And the third?
Third, and this is the big one right now, secure capacity early.
Because of that collision course we were just talking about.
Exactly. With Latin America booking so aggressively, Western brands just cannot wait. If you think you can book Q3 capacity later this spring, you might find that factory floor is already sold out to a buyer in Brazil.
That is a crucial warning. And if you want the full breakdown of these quality and compliance trends, you can find it all in the full QIMA Quarterly Barometer report. It shares global insights based on data from tens of thousands of inspections and audits.
It's definitely worth a read to see the entire picture.
It really is. It leaves me thinking, though, if every major economy is rushing to diversify into the exact same alternative markets all at once, are we actually building resilience, or are we just moving the traffic jam to a smaller highway? Thanks for listening to QIMA's Supply Chain Soundbites.